Screech by TarynMcT. Read by Oakshadow5. Chapter 13. CW. This is a dark chapter for Izuku. Super dark. Like, you're gonna need a flashlight to see dark. Shota felt as if his world had shifted just a few inches to the left. He was off-center. The adorable boy he had let into his hardened home, the vigilante who he had thought he had known the full extent of his skills, had not only been holding back the whole time, but had just been barely showing his true abilities. Shota had thought he was as powerful as Hisashi was, but he was wrong. Oh gods, was he wrong. When Screech had cheekily told him to stay out of his way, Shota had been annoyed, but was willing to admit to himself that the battle in the plaza really would be out of his comfort zone, and he trusted Screech's abilities. And so, he decided to follow through with his birdson's suggestion. He really did need to have a talk with the students on proper protocol though, because when the villain made of mist showed up, both Sato and Kirishima charged in to fight him, blocking his line of sight and enabling the villain to create portals that scattered the students to various parts of the facility. Fortunately, Ida Tenya was able to make it out of the building and raced to lead the rest of the school to the attack. By the time the rest of the teachers arrived though, Ashido, Uraraka, and Shoji had already borne witness to the devastating power that was their classmate. They watched him screech at the villain multiple times, watched as the creature's limbs were crushed by the force of the sound waves, watched as the screech vibrated the creature's very cells, causing it to explode, showing the entire plaza in blood and gore. They witnessed as Midora Izuku emptied her stomach on the ground and broke down into tears, deep, heart-rending sobs, collapsing to his knees and hugging himself with everything he was worth, wrapping himself in his own wings to try to shield himself from anyone else witnessing the aftermath of his most powerful attack. Shota knew he would need to keep an eye on Izuku tonight. He probably shouldn't be left alone for more than a few minutes at any given moment. The rest of the students were ushered out of the facility before Izuku finally managed to unfurl his wings. Looking around, Izuku listlessly walked to the lake.
Zuku, where are you going?
Shota asked. Instead of a real reply, Izuku hooted softly, and then knelt next to the water and started splashing himself, rinsing off the blood and gore. He kept splashing, and the water kept running red. The more he splashed, the more desperate he got, and he just dived into the water and started scrubbing at every single spot of red he saw. Even when his own skin turned red, he kept scrubbing. When he reached for his wings to start pulling out bloody feathers, Shota erased his quirk, causing his wings to disappear. Shortly after his freak out at the lake, Izuku passed out. Shota was very glad in that moment that Izuku had hollow bird bones, since the only other person he'd trust to carry his birdson was Hizashi, who had been busy being a mother hen over Hitoshi and Todoroki, trusting that Shota would take care of Izuku, and had left with the rest of the staff and students. Shota waved off the last medic, knowing that Izuku didn't have any injuries from the fight, and that he wouldn't appreciate being touched by anyone else right now, even if he did have injuries. Izuku jolted awake silently, tears streaming down his face. He had seen the monster exploding again in his dream, but this time he couldn't stop. He had turned to the others in the facility and exploded the man with the blue hair. Then he turned around and exploded Hitoshi, Shoto, and even Shota. Izuku sat up on his bed and gripped himself tightly. You know it's only a matter of time before you kill them too. No, I won't, he whispered to himself. You didn't think you'd kill him either, but you did. I won't kill Hitoshi, or Shoto, or Shota. I won't. His voice was shaking, cracking. If you stay here, you will. Izuku's grip on himself tightened. He looked up suddenly when he heard a turret flash in the hallway and the faucet turn on. Leave, now, before he kills someone else. Unless you really do want to kill the nice family that has taken in a pathetic, stupid, worthless Deku like you. Izuku got out of his bed, briefly noticed there was a chair in his room with a yellow sleeping bag on the floor next to it, and he opened his window. As he jumped out, he heard Shota's voice calling out to him to come back, but Izuku just flew faster, quickly disappearing from sight. What do you mean he flew off? Kigo exclaimed. Shota had called him. Right after, he yelled for Hisashi to get up and start searching for Izuku.
That's just what I said, bird brain.
Shota grumbled.
I took 3 minutes to use the bathroom while he was asleep, and he must have woken up in that time and flew out the window.
Right. Where did he go?
If I knew that, I wouldn't be telling you to help me look.
Shota yelled.
I don't know where my son is, and you need to help me find him.
Keigo sighed over the phone. Yeah, I got that. I meant, what direction am I starting from? Did he go east, west, north? And I want to start looking south just for him to be found way to the north. Shota ran his hands through his hair.
He went east. Hisashi took the northeast, and I'm taking straight east. You take southeast.
Understood. I'll call if I find him. Keigo hung up. Shota kept running across the rooftops, searching for her son. Izuku had stopped flying. He didn't know exactly where he was, but it didn't really matter. Nothing mattered anymore. He had disobeyed orders when he fought those villains. He had engaged in combat, used his quirk, against the direct orders of a pro-hero. And not just any pro-hero, but against the direct orders of Eraserhead. Izuku sniffled in despair. He was going to be kicked out of school now, expelled. He would be sent to jail for vigilantism. He was going to be abandoned, lose the family he was just starting to feel safe with. Izuku let his tears fall. They only took you in to get you to stop. You broke their trust. I know, he cried. You never deserved their affection. I know, he whispered again. There's only one thing left for you to do. I know. Izuku looked up at the sky, wanting to see it one last time. He couldn't jump. After all the times before that he tried, he knows that won't work. Looking at his hands, he extended his talons. That could work. Izuku pulled up his sleeves and touched his talons to his skin. Do it. End it. He pressed his talons a little harder onto his skin, drawing a single drop of blood, and paused. Did he really want to do this? No one would miss you. Izuku closed his eyes and saw in his mind's eye Shota, sitting with him, watching cat videos while playing with his curls. The lessons with Hisashi, where he tells Izuku various methods to help with his self-confidence and gives him the best and warmest hugs. Owl Cave visits with Hitoshi, midnight talks about past trauma, flying with Keigo, playing aerial tag, and talking about how great it is being a burp, and making weekly promises to live just one more week. Izuku lifted his talon from his skin, leaving only a tiny pinprick of blood. He couldn't do it. He promised Keigo. He promised. Izuku wrapped his arms around himself and let out heart-rending sobs. What am I going to do now? He cried. I can't go back. Why not? Izuku hissed in surprise and turned around. Hisashi was slowly walking towards Izuku. Why can't you come back? I just can't, he replied brokenly. I killed him. I'm a villain now. No, baby, you're not a villain. Hisashi pulled Izuku into his arms and kissed his forehead. Baby, you're just protecting the rest of your class. You're protecting Shota. That's the furthest thing from a villain. But I killed him. Let me let you in on a secret, Hisashi whispered as he held Izuku tightly. While we try our very best not to, even us heroes have killed people. Izuku hiccuped and looked up at Hisashi. Really? Hisashi pulled Izuku into his lap as he sat down and nodded sadly. Yeah, especially those of us with really powerful quirks. Hisashi ran his fingers through Izuku's hair, and as Izuku was crying, he started humming. It was a gentle sound, light and soothing, a sound that Izuku could feel deep in his bones and soul. The sound was like a bomb to his aching heart, and he held onto Hisashi with everything that he was, everything he had. He knew he'd be leaving bruises on his arms, but he couldn't let him go. He needed this. He needed to be held. He needed his papa. Izuku wanted Hisashi to be his papa. He wanted what Hitoshi had. He wanted a dad and a papa. He wanted a brother. He wanted a real family. And for this moment, being held by Hisashi, being hummed to by Hisashi, he could pretend, just for now, that he had a family. Hisashi could feel his baby bird sobs turn from despair to hope, just like he had intended. His quirk, after all, was voice, not shout. He had found, after years of experimentation and with a lot of concentration, that various sounds could affect a person's moods, depending on the hertz and frequency he uses, from alertness to sadness, happiness, hopeful, hopeless, and it could even help stimulate healing. Tonight, his baby needed a little extra hope. Hope that things would be okay, that whatever it was that made him break down, he has the ability to overcome it. He is not alone. Hisashi will be there for him. Shota will be there for him. Hitoshi will be there for him. Even Keigo will be there for him. As Hisashi felt Izuku's sobs peter out, he planted another kiss to the deep green curls. Baby bird, are you okay to talk to me about what happened? Or do you want me to keep humming? Izuku sniffled a little and pulled back slightly. Were you using your quirk just now? He whispered. I was, yes. And if you need me to keep going, I will. Okay. Izuku hesitated for another moment. I'll tell you, but can you keep humming? Please? Hisashi smiled at him softly and nodded. Of course I can, my sweet little owl. As Hisashi started humming again, Izuku spoke. I don't want to go to jail, but I disobeyed orders. I know Shota could have handled things. He's amazing. He's better than I'll ever be. But I knew that disobeying would get me expelled. I knew, and I did it anyways. Izuku buried his face back into Hisashi's chest, but he kept talking. So Hisashi kept humming. I killed him. I knew he was going to die, and I kept going. I started at a normal level, but he was only just barely halted. So I went to half power. He could regenerate. My Screech was crushing his limbs, but he kept healing. I could have stopped. I could have. I don't know what else I could have done. Hisashi laid his cheek against Izuku's hair. Sweetie, Hisashi breathed. Well, yes, you could have stopped. From what I've heard of the attack, that creature wouldn't have stopped. You did what you had to. No one is upset with you. You're not going to be expelled. You're not going to be arrested. I promise you. Izuku lifted his head and looked Hisashi in the eyes. Really? There was so much hope in that one word. Really? Sweet little owl, you're not getting away from me and Shota that easily. He can handle a little insubordination, especially when it's from you. Hisashi ran his fingers through Izuku's hair, coming to a small snake and gently detangling it. Can I tell you something, little bird? When Izuku nodded, Hisashi continued. Shota and I have been talking lately, and, well, we love you. We know you were only supposed to be a temporary replacement, but you fit our family perfectly. Izuku's eyes widened in surprise. We have been wanting to expand our family for years, but we weren't going to adopt someone that wouldn't be able to get along with Hitoshi. But you're perfect. Not only do I get along with him, but he also adores you. The two of you have been brothers from the first day you were with us. So, Izuku, it's up to you now. Do you want to be a part of our family? You don't have. Izuku interrupted him with a laugh. Yes, please. Please be my papa. Okay. Hisashi squeezed him tightly. Okay, I'll be your papa, and you can be my tiniest son. Oh no, I'm going to cry. The last part was so cute. Mike helped Izuku calm down and realize that he's wanted. But anyways guys, I hope you all enjoyed chapter 13 of Screech, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!